What's up everyone, Tom from the Airsoft headquarters here, and welcome back. Today we do have a little bit more serious of a video discussing some of the things that are happening within the airsoft industry, how those have affected things here at the Airsoft headquarters, and hopefully answering some questions that our local consumers and local players may have. Now, one of the great things that we've had within the last couple of days is the Airsoftology video explaining some of the things that are happening over in Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, and other manufacturing sites overseas for airsoft specifically. It is such a great video that in email conversations within today and yesterday, it has been more than once been dropped into some of those email conversations like, hey, he is 100% spot on all the topics. So if you guys haven't already check it out. And we reply, yep, we've already shared it. We've already watched it a couple times ourselves. And yeah, he is completely thorough. He is 100% on absolutely everything and is an excellent new perspective. We've been saying it within the last several weeks here, a lot of those topics that he has covered, but he can just get out there to a much wider base. And so hopefully multiple perspectives and multiple lanes of information can get across to an even more widespread number of players. So that's what we're hoping for with this, just get everyone educated and up to speed as to what's going on here. So that being said, did have the honor of meeting Jonathan at SHOT Show 2020. He has been a role model of mine since I've started and have grown in the airsoft community. He is partly why I am doing what I'm doing right now. He has influenced me to be a creator of video content and has definitely led me into pursuing a role within the airsoft industry here in a retail space. And honestly, he's in person a downright humble, down-to-earth guy. Very much enjoyed his company. We had a great conversation. I'm such a big fan of his that when we did end up talking at SHOT Show, I was very anxious, and Carl down at the Airsoft Arena can probably tell you a really funny story about how I was geeking out really hard just conversing about cameras with Jonathan. It was really great. Anyway, enough about that. We're gonna get into things here on this side of the house. So as far as here at the Airsoft headquarters, for anyone that has been a local consumer within the last month and a half, 2 months, it has been shocking. I am embarrassed, and I'm also disappointed kind of in myself as far as not being able to keep the shelves as well as the display hooks up and available in stock. Unfortunately, it just comes down to the fact that there is a general lack of product from our mainstream brands that we just can't get those products at all. Elite Force, G&G, KWA, we just can't get those at this current time. So what's happening is it comes down to, right, piggybacking off of Jonathan from Airsoftology, it is a hard, it is a delay of manufacturing, first of all. It is a huge delay when it comes to the overall shipping and having to sit in quarantine, and then being delayed as far as the shipping from our distributors here to the store itself. In some cases, we'll put an order in and it will take up to 2 weeks before we'll actually see that order come through and be processed and then finally get arrived here at the store. Like it is a super delayed process. And fortunately, there's nothing on my end that I can do as far as to speed that process up other than to try to get ahead of that 8 ball and pre-order products before pre-ordering is even available. Unfortunately, it's come down to that. Not only that, but the lack of overall products that are becoming available from overseas now have to get distributed across a very large number of retailers, right? To give you an accurate idea as to what's happening, shipping containers from mainstream brands, like very popular brands, will only get 20 total rifles in one shipping container, which 20 total rifles cannot be evenly distributed across all of the retail locations in the US, let alone probably just one state, right? So there has to be extreme allocation, and unfortunately it comes down to a little bit of favoritism when it comes to who's going to get what, right? And that all has to come down to who's the biggest kid on the block. In terms of speaking of the entire US as one block, there are certainly more than a handful of retailers that are going to be bigger than us. And then now we have to compete with other retailers about our size as well, which leaves all of these smaller retail locations below us as well, having to get absolutely nothing. So of those 20 rifles, I'll get an email from a distributor saying, hey, we just literally unboxed this shipment 10 minutes ago. There are 20 rifles on there, just to give you a heads up. And then I can receive that email right away, call up my rep and say, I want to have one rifle. And then they'll say, we've already sent them out to someone else. Sorry. And you guys can probably guess who is going to get them, just based purely on popularity as well as the volume of media, as well as just being a bigger overall retailer, right? Even online, there are several that have a very, very, very big presence. So unfortunately, that's where a lot of the stuff gets broken out, which is very difficult for us, which leads into the next part of this whole video, where we are needing to look at alternatives to some of those mainstream brands and products. When looking at some of the alternative brands or products that we may look at bringing in, it is unfortunately something that we do need to discuss pretty heavily amongst ourselves, as far as, does product X or brand X meet our standard? And what that means is we do uphold certain brands and certain products at a higher level compared to others. Within the airsoft industry, a good defect rate, as far as the breakdown of certain rifles, a good defect rate is around 15 to 20%, right? That's still acceptable. Not for us, right? We strive and try so hard to bring in products and brands that are going to retain lower than a 5% defect rate, right? There's no number exactly out there, but we try very hard to be able to provide you, the consumer, a product that you will be happy with, that you will be proud of, and that you are going to go and have fun with. So there are certain brands that are certainly very, very popular. No argument as to the popularity of those brands. It does come down to a discussion as to whether or not that brand does meet our standard, right? Because our experiences, not only as a retail location, but also our experiences as players ourselves, because we are first and foremost consumers of the airsoft industry as well, what our experiences are with said brands. So that is taken into consideration when looking at some of the other options in order to fill those walls and those shelves. One of the other things that we will be looking for is looking to see if some of these products are going to be very comparable or similar to other mainstream products. What that means is we don't want to bring in another product that is going to have a completely different set of internals or completely different set of gearboxes, externals, stuff like that, that is going to kind of rearrange some of the options that we would also bring in, as well as accessory products, right? We still want to be able to provide you guys a standardized set of accessories, optics, grips, flashlights, magazines, stuff like that, that can still be utilized across literally everything else. So we are taking that in as well. And then the final thing when it comes to looking at some of these alternatives is maintaining an optimistic attitude, looking at this from a positive perspective as to say, well, what we normally go with our safety barriers are product and brand X. what if we kind of branch out just a little bit, kind of dip our toes into the water and see kind of what else is out there, right? Let's bring in a wider selection for our consumer base to be able to make a decision from, right? That's all about what we do here in the store. Inform and educate so our players can make an educated decision as to what is going to fit their play style, what is going to fit their needs, what they're going to be happy with. So trying to think very, 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 very positively about having even more options available. So unfortunately, when it does come around to being able to bring our mainstream products back in, which I say unfortunately, because it looks like we won't be able to get those for another couple of years. So keep that in mind. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be sitting on pre-orders for a long time. So please be patient, not only with us, but for other retailers as well, that there is going to be a very big lack of product. So if you do have several pre-orders out there, just be patient. It's being manufactured, it's being made. They're trying to take they're doing the best that they can in order to provide the product. And so if your emails don't get answered, if you don't see the product within a timely manner, just be patient, right? And like I said, we as staff members are consumers of the airsoft industry as well. So we totally understand and we completely are sympathetic with the situation that our player base is in. We're in the same boat as well. If I can't get a new rifle or a new accessory, I'm in the same boat as you. And there may be certain opportunities within the very near future that will allow us to provide Glock platforms within some capacity, right? We are looking at some alternatives, something we can do here in-house that can help provide you guys. Because Glocks, it's the same thing, they're coming in at a very limited number, and they are being distributed across 3 different platforms, or in 3 different communities. We have airsofters, firearm enthusiasts, and firearm trainers, right? People may think that the last 2 are going to be one, but it's actually 3 different completely separate categories. And unfortunately, if we're only able to get 50 total Glocks into the US, again, based on that distribution chain, right, we're not gonna be able to see brand new Glocks very often. So we are looking at some of those alternatives as well. So please be patient. Everyone on the airsoft industry is trying to do their very best. Just please show us some patience. We're all doing the best that we can. So that is what we have as far as there. You can look forward to some of the new products that we will be bringing in as far as those alternatives. So again, if it's something that we may consider bringing in, that may open up some review videos, some new content that we'll be able to post for you guys as well. So we're all trying to remain super optimistic as to our current situation, but we're not happy about it. And that is what we have for today. So if you guys have any further questions, put them down in the comments section below. I'll do my best to answer every single one of those to the best of my abilities. And we're all done here. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I look forward to seeing you guys here in the store. So take care.